Well, welcome back to the show. Happy to have Drew Barrett, the co-host of Halftime on ESPN Arkansas, here joining us. And to pick back up on the softball and baseball conversation, Drew, let's start there, right? Big day for softball as Arkansas winning the Fayetteville Regional. Your thoughts on this week's action?
Oh, it was just great action, great wins there by Arkansas. Got a little bit of some trouble there
Yeah.
with some defensive plays in the field. Didn't really see that one happening. And as a former SID, softball SID myself, I was having nightmares of trying to figure out how to score that play, which
Oh gosh, yeah.
I'm sure whose job that was, it took a good 5-10 minutes to figure it out. But just I think you can sum up the weekend and just the get today's game by the emotion that KB Side showed when she hit that solo home run to get that 9-3 lead there at the end. She sprinted around the bases, and two, just the emotion, the fist pump, the arms wide open, and just the excitement that they all have. It was just absolutely phenomenal to watch, and
Yep.
hopefully they continue it all the way to Oklahoma City.
Yeah, let's hope so. It took Arkansas 3 wins to get through this regional. You only
Mhm.
need two in the supers to head to the Women's College World Series. So it's going to be a fun one next weekend at Bogle Park. Kind of, I feel like on the flip side of that, Drew, is this baseball team that unfortunately is trending in not the right direction that they want to be right now. And we talked about it earlier in the week on the radio show. But what does this Arkansas team now have to do as they kind of hobble into the SEC tournament in Hoover as the 3 seed?
Well, ultimately, it was a disappointing weekend, and you hope this wasn't the way that you wanted to end the season. This was uh, something that was pretty highlighted by an 18-5 loss on Saturday. So I think that this team just really needs to get back to the basics. Figure out um, different ways to get on base. If that's playing a little bit for different version of baseball, going to maybe a small ball type of thing, they just got to be able to figure it out because ultimately, and this, working with Phil every day, he's the expert on Arkansas Razorback baseball.
Mhm.
And what they're doing right now, it ultimately isn't working, and it's going to be hard to spin this come Monday into a positive thing, so people aren't driving off the road cursing at us and cursing at Arkansas, because it's really hard to defend a team that lost 18-5.
Yeah, it really is, and it's really kind of hard to pick a side. But if you look at this team, Drew, in your opinion, what are you more worried about, the offense or the pitching right now?
I think it's pitching because that was the one strength that you've had most of the season. And, obviously with Hagen Smith not pitching this weekend, throwing in Will McIntyre there, I wasn't upset or, really scratching the head of the decision to start Will McIntyre on Thursday, because this is a guy that's come to Dave Van Horn, asked for more innings. He's shown that he can do it during the week games, had an impressive outing a few weeks ago in SEC play. So you need to know what you really have, especially when you get into Hoover play and then into regional supers and hopefully into Omaha, where you're going to be playing a lot of games in a very short time. So you got to make sure you know exactly what you have. And just the disappointment, I think, from the pitching standpoint this weekend was just it was a big question mark that Dave Van Horn and his staff is going to have to answer. But offensively, I think it's definitely something you got to worry about too, because you can't rely on an Earl Weaver special every game. You can't rely on that 3-run homer. You've got to figure out a way to get more timely hits.
Yeah, absolutely. And, obviously, maybe this was a wake up call for this Razorback team as we now head into the postseason, which is very much a, win and move on, lose and go home kind of atmosphere. So you don't have a lot of room for error here in the postseason. Outside of winning the SEC tournament, Drew, what would be the definition of success for you in Hoover?
I think the definition of success would be staying in every game, especially after Saturday. The definition of success is, and it's hard to put into words because I've looked back at this entire
Yeah.
season, and you look at a team that's been ranked in the top 10. 99 other programs in the country right now would trade everything they have to be Arkansas baseball. But you hear the reaction from fans. You kind of just have that feeling going along with the season. All right, this is a good team, but is it a great team? And that's the reason why there's been so much negativity, I think around this team. And Dave Van Horn addressed it earlier this week when asked about it. And I think it's going to be just more of a feeling, just of okay, even though you didn't win all the way in Hoover, you didn't make it to Sunday, but you just feel like things are clicking.
Yeah.
It's a feeling, and I know that might be a cop out answer there, but that's just kind of how this whole
Mhm.
season has been.
Yeah.
Covering this team, it's been a good team, but you just don't have the feeling there. There's just something missing, and you don't really know exactly what it is until you see it. And I'm just
Yeah.
hoping that we see that missing piece, whatever it is, out of this Razorbacks
Yeah.
team this week.
Yeah, I'd love to see it too. Hey, look, I don't envy you. I know you guys are going to get a lot of phone calls this week
We
as
are.
this tournament gets started and throughout the week as Arkansas continues to play in it. Hopefully, they're playing into the weekend, but I know baseball now on the focus of people's minds. And then, of course, Arkansas and their super regionals heading this weekend at Bogle Park. So, a lot to look forward to with the softball team. Everyone kind of bracing themselves and waiting to see with the baseball team. But hey, man, it was great to catch up with you. Really appreciate you jumping on the show and look forward to some more of your postseason insight later on in the next couple of weeks, Drew. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate it, Alyssa. Thanks for having me. I'll be back anytime you like.
All right. We appreciate it. More Pig Trail Show after the break.